everyone, this is Zinia from Abstract Inspiration and welcome back for another Shimmerz video. Today I'm gonna show you a really fun abstract art journaling spread, but before I get to the page and the process, I want to talk to you about what I did to create a really fun paint mix to work with. And well, you don't quite understand what I'm talking about, but you'll get it in a second. I'm gonna use the AcriTonez and dilute them to create something similar to the golden high flow acrylics or fluid. We'll see how it will turn out. And I have this squeeze bottle I got off eBay, which is pretty huge, but I'm just gonna use a very small amount here. This is like 100 milliliters, I believe. And the other thing I'm gonna use is golden airbrush medium. Now I guess you can get similar results with other very fluid mediums, or mediums, I'm not sure how you say it. This is like the thinnest they have, I believe, and we're gonna see how it will work. I've never done this before with the AcriTonez, but I'm sure it will work pretty well. So let's actually do this right now. Let me zoom in a little bit and also unseal my airbrush medium because it's brand new. Okay, so I'm gonna put approximately 50-50 and we'll see how it will go. So let's see. And you see how super fluid this airbrush medium is. I'm gonna put it right around there. I think that's plenty for what we want to do. It's still an experiment, so I don't want to waste too much. I put, I think, approximately 10 milliliters. I'm just going with the guides from the bottle I have. I'm gonna shake my AcriTonez a little bit, just to make sure the binder and the pigment is mixed well, and I'm using Pinkadelic here. So I'm gonna squeeze some of the color here. And my Pinkadelic is actually a little bit dried and lumpy, but I'm hoping that it will do the job and mix nicely. So I'm just gonna close the cap and shake it very well. So I brought a piece of paper and I'm shaking the bottle for quite a while now, so I hope it worked well. I do have one of the high flow acrylics to compare the consistency with and add more paint or more medium if it's necessary. So let's see how it works. So straight out of the bottle, it looks pretty well. Right there, I guess. Let's see how that reacts with water. So so my DIY high flow, it does spread a little bit. Of course, I'm not expecting it to be exactly the same. We're talking about completely different types of paints. I'm just trying to get close to the consistency rather than the whole behavior. So let's actually see how it's dripping, because that's what interests me the most. So if I put it here, it's nice, but I think I could make it a little thinner. Let's see how are the high flows for comparison. Now they're pretty much the same. So you see right here we reached a really great consistency to make our AcriTonez very nice and fluidy, to get like an ink-like viscosity. So let's get into the actual art journaling process. I'm starting by putting together my color palette. I have my squeezy bottle there on the side, and I actually ended up adding a little bit of the roses or red AcriTonez to kind of warm the shade a little bit. I'm taking this circular palette and I'm adding a few blobs of 3 sheets to the wind AcriTonez, and I'm gonna create a few different mixes. Here I'm using roses are red and blue my top. I'm also gonna use Java Jade and Pinkadelic from the AcriTonez, and I'll bring in some more products. I'm gonna let you know as I go. Here's the pasties, Hold the Mustard, and the Dazzlers that is called Lemon Drop, and I'm gonna use both of them. I find that the Dazzlers have a more intense color because they have more opacity to them in a way, if that makes sense. So the Dazzlers color easier the AcriTonez compared to the pasties. And see here, I'm actually mixing the colors together to help the whole color palette work nicely. It's really good if you're mixing different colors for a specific project to include a little bit of the other colors in each. Okay, I'm messing this up. What I want to say is that to have a little bit of your other colors in each color, you don't need to have a little bit of everything, but just mix them up so you bring the shades a bit closer together, that they will complement each other better and they won't look too far apart, too much contrasting, and kind of like they don't belong together. You see, at this stage my palette actually doesn't look like it belongs together, but that's how I'm starting. I'm choosing some colors and then looking at them, I think, okay, so which ones I need to edit, what do I need to add, and that's how I go from there. So you see that minty color is just too green, and I'm gonna add a little bit more of that blue AcriTonez and just mixing it up until I feel it matches nicely. And I think I actually didn't add a AcriTonez. I think I added a Dazzlers in Gummy Bear Blue, because as I mentioned earlier, I like that added opacity and the difference in texture it gives to the paint. So I'm pulling some more of that Hold the Mustard pasties and adding some of the roses are red to create a vibrant and very deep orange shade, and I actually love it. Here I think I added a little bit of the Dazzlers as well, but because I use so much of the pastes, it is a little bit too thick, so I'm bringing in some more of that airbrush medium to actually thin the color down and make it more brushable. And you'll see now I'm gonna use that color and mix it in my yellow, I believe, or no, I'm mixing a little bit of yellow in the red to bring it closer, because that red was a little bit too pink and it was so far from the orange. And just slowly bringing the colors together here. I'm kind of happy with what I have in my palette right now, so I'm just going ahead and covering my page with a little thin layer of gesso. And you know, I'm just scraping it with random strokes, and I actually leave marks with my palette knife. I don't want it to be perfect. And now you see I'm wearing a glove because I'm going in and do some figure painting. And don't get me wrong, these paints are all super safe to use and with your bare fingers. I just hate staining my fingers so much. That's why I'm using the gloves, and I hope it's not a problem for you. You don't mind looking at it. And you know, I'm just improvising right now. I'm just going with my gut. I'm just going as I feel and creating these expressive strokes. It's just a very intuitive process. You don't need to overthink, you don't need to overblend, you just pull your colors, put them wherever you feel like. Right here I decided that I wanted a little bit of a vibrant color on the cool side because I had that beautiful orange but nothing to balance on the cooler shades, and that's why I brought these pasties, and the color is Tree Hugger. just going back to the palette and pulling colors and having some fun there. I really love how this works, like doing some random gestures here and there, and you see how the paint holds the body and the strokes. And here I'm gonna bring in some more of the roses or red color because I just want to brighten up the whole color palette. And again, I'm not overthinking, I'm just seeing an empty space and I'm adding some color. That's all there is to it. I'm pulling some of that orange and I'm gonna create another blue shade. And I'm not using the blue straight from the bottle, as I said, because I want to bring the shades together. That's why I used a little bit of that orange to mute the blue down, and you see how well it works with everything and how beautifully it contrasts in the whole page. And that's the whole idea here. I'm just bringing the colors and brushing them across with my fingers, and it's really so special when you have a physical connection with your artwork. I mean, don't get me wrong, like it's fun to work with your brushes and your tools, but when you just dip your fingers in that paint and just smudge it all over the page, and you see I'm just changing the finger to use the different colors, and you know, having that physical reaction with your art, it really it's such a wonderful therapeutic process. It's really so much fun, and you can honestly do it with your kids or just for yourself. It's really so much fun. I really love finger painting, you can tell. And it creates a really fun background. You don't need to overthink anything. And it's all using the some AcriTonez and some pasties to color things around. It's just super easy. Here I have I let the paint dry a little bit, and I'm using that squeezy bottle to create some fun drops there. And I laid some of the drops, and then my bottle got a little bit clogged, so I decided to just dip my palette knife in the color and create some more drops on my own. And I'm gonna just add, I don't want to cover anything from this background, so to just give it more interest, I'm gonna do some mark making and doodling. And I'm starting here with this beautiful fluid mix we created at the beginning of the video. And I'm moving on to a white paint pen, and I'm gonna do some doodles here. I'm just creating some half circly lines there, and I'm gonna add some random doodles, color them in, scribble, or whatever you feel like. It doesn't need to be perfect, it doesn't need to be anything really, just to add some marks there and some lines and some variety to go through the page. And just doing some lines here, and I'm also gonna do some splatters. These actually, first of all, I'm gonna go and do some circles. So I'm gonna use these drops as guides, and I'm gonna add some more circles. So you see how the process goes, how your page and your background turns. It can guide you on what details to add to the page. And here I'm adding the drops, the splatter drops. I really love how this pen kind of leaks through. I think it's intentional. And you can just smush it around your page and it will just create some beautiful splatters. And I'm also going to use this indigo paint pen, and I'm going to create some small darker marks on that side of the page. Just because there were so many warm colors on the right side and it wasn't so well balanced, that's why I wanted to use that indigo color there to bring in some of the coolness. And I'm also going to use a pen to add a tiny bit of journaling on the side there. And that will basically finish the page. I'm just going to go over it because my gestures were a little bit too fast and I didn't write it well. My paint skipped a lot. And I'm also gonna add a couple more of the marks on the right side with a blue pen, just because I wanted to spread the color a little bit further. And that will wrap up my page. I really had so much fun creating this, and I hope you enjoyed watching it as well. You can check all the details in the Shimmerz blog, and I will have a list of all the products used there, so you can take a look. Also, if you want to purchase anything of these products, you can mention my name when you check out at the Shimmerz shop and get a free sample product to try out. So that's a cool thing. Check it out. And I think that's everything. You can see the close-up shots here and how textured the page is in the end. And yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. And give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I will see you again very soon. Bye.